Hello, Space Pilot Mr. Cool Guy here. Well, still no luck finding Velcor. It's a big ship. Who knows? Oh, he might be in his own cryopod. Or maybe he's in a secret compartment. Like one that's underneath all the ship compartments. All the ship areas. I might have to see if there is one. But, anyways, it's been fine wandering around the ship by myself while the crew sleeps. You know, it's quiet and peaceful. Just sit, think. Well, what? Whatever I want, I suppose. But, anyways, it's time for 10 more random facts you may or may not know. Starting with fact number 1. Kid umpire. 9-year-old Lathan Williams of Hammond, Louisiana, has been an umpire at local baseball games since he was 5 years old. Dang. That is a really young umpire. That is shoo-wee, man. Like, that is crazy. It's 5 years old. I mean, granted, it's local baseball games, so not like major league games per se. But still, who knows? When he grows up, he might have a career of being an umpire in the major leagues, if he wants. You know, yeah, he has plenty of years to decide what he wants to be. That's for sure. You know, just hope he doesn't, take on the life of, a bad path, a bad job. Like a thief or whatnot. I'm not saying he's the kind of person that would, I'm just saying. You just hope he doesn't. But it's time to move on to fact number 2. Pumpkin paddle. Dwayne Hanson from Nebraska paddled 38 miles, or 60 kilometers, down the Missouri River in a huge hollowed-out pumpkin that he had grown himself. It took him 11 hours to complete the voyage, crouched inside the 846-pound, 384-kilogram pumpkin, which he named Berta. Dang. A pumpkin they can just paddle down the river in. Dang. That reminds me of, what's that story or movie or whatever? James and the Giant Peach, yeah. My name James, how he escaped his terrible family and a giant peach. Man. That was, yeah. But dang. I mean, granted, the guy was crouched in the pumpkin and he tried to paddle down the river. But, man, that is... that's... I mean, if it's a goal yours in your life to paddle down the river in a pumpkin? Or, go down the river and a pumpkin will crouched in it? Then, hey, guess you gotta live your life. I mean, I don't know if I personally would name a pumpkin, but hey, each their own, I mean, sometimes people name their ships. But anyways, it's time for fact number 3. High dunk. Polish basketball player Piotr Grabowski soared into the air to complete a between-the-legs slam dunk at a height of 10.4 feet or 3.2 meters in London, England. To enable him to perform the stunt, the hoop was raised 6 inches, 15 centimeters above the regulation NBA height. Dang, that is quite a high jump. Man, you either gotta be tall or really fit to make that jump. But that is 10.4 foot jump into the air to make a between the legs slam dunk. Dang, that is crazy. Man. But that means the regulation height is 9.8 inches. Right? So that means normal slam dunks are made at 9.8 feet, not inches. It was 10. He did it at a height of 10.4 feet. And 6 inches. That is 9.8 feet, not inches. Well. See, this is why you go to school to get an education. I got an education, but this is why you go to school, so you can know things. But now, let's move on to fact number 4. Toes target. Bouncing on her hands, Shannon Jones used her feet to shoot an arrow at the center of a target from a distance of 60 feet or 18.3 meters. A professional contortionist, Shannon has been practicing foot archery for over 6 years. Known as the girl with no bones, she is able to twist her entire body through a small hula hoop and solve Rubik's cubes with her feet. Dang, that's impressive. I mean, we learned that you all, heard about, like in the last transmission, you heard about this. The other contortionist, one that could perform 11 chest to floor back bends in 30 seconds, entire shoes in about 10 seconds while in the chest roll position. And now you heard about one that can shoot an arrow onto the dead center of a target from 60 feet away using her feet. Well, apparently she can solve Rubik's cubes with her feet. Bro, that is impressive. I mean, it's impressive, when you can shoot an arrow from 60 feet and hit dead center of a target, or shoot it through a small keyhole. But hitting dead center on a target from 60 feet with your feet. That is... I mean, she did practice for over 6 years, but still. It's still impressive. Dang. Now, let's move on to fact number 5. No shoe stroll. Fancy walking barefoot everywhere, even in the winter? Dang. Must have no pain tolerance. Or, no, it'd be the opposite. Must have extreme pain tolerance. Must not be able to feel pain or something. Joseph DeRuvo Jr. from Connecticut has been doing just that for over 20 years. He started walking without shoes after getting painful bunions on his feet, and says the experience has given him great sympathy for dogs because of the need to avoid sharp objects. Alright. I mean, that's certainly a way to live your life. So, did he just not get rid of the bunions, and that's why he just walks around barefoot because he can't feel it because of the bunions? Or that's yeah, personally I wouldn't walk around outside in the winter with no shoes. I wouldn't walk around barefoot, especially in the summer. That ground is gonna be hot. And in the winter it's gonna be freezing. That is gonna hurt your feet. That, I couldn't do it. No, thank you. That is why I am glad to have shoes. Yep. Shoes. Well, it's time to move on to fact number 6. Spinning sleighing. If you only have 2 hands, how can you spin 10 basketballs at once? Well, let's find out. Using her entire body, Robin Sleighing is one of only 3 women in the US who can spin 10 basketballs at the same time. With patience and skill, she mesmerizes audiences with her dribbling, juggling, and spinning tricks on the court. But Robin isn't new to basketball. She played in college at Southwest Baptist University in Missouri. Robin now gives back to students around the country, challenging them to make positive choices and keep healthy habits. Hey, you know, that's a pretty good way to give back to the community. But man, 10 basketballs at once? That is the amount of time and dedication and patience it would take to practice that. And then to do it each time, you'd have to have so much patience. You'd have to be so careful when adding the basketballs to spin them, because there's already about spinning, so you'd have to be careful not to move the body part where the basketball is. Right? That is wild. Yup. Man. You know, I have patience for some things, like building a large Lego set. Oh yes. There are those who are like, oh yeah, I know what you mean. The amount of patience you gotta have for that. Oof. Yeah, once it's completed, you gotta hope that it don't break. It's the worst feeling ever when your completed Lego set falls and breaks. I've never had a large set break, but if a large set did, yeah, I don't even want to think of what I'd do. What would happen? Alright, it's time for fact number 7. Cinematic City. Furong ancient town in China is built on the cliffs of a nearly 200-foot tall, 61-meter waterfall. The 2,000-year-old village looks like a scene out of a movie. In fact, a Chinese film called Hibiscus Town was filmed there in the 1980s. Furong means hibiscus in Chinese. The town used to be known as Wangkun. It was renamed after the movie in 1997. Today, Furong is a quiet village, but still gets many visitors. People love to walk around the town's old buildings and explore caves behind the waterfall. At night, bright lights cover the waterfall in beautiful colors. Dang. That sounds amazing. Oh, it's probably beautiful in person, to look at. Or I should say even more beautiful looking at it in person than on screen. Oh man. Just a reminder of the beauty that's out there if you just take the time to look. But now, let's move on to fact number 8. Egg and Run Race. Every year, the Italian town of Candino stages a race between two people, one of whom has to run 7 miles or 11.2 kilometers, while the other picks up 100 raw eggs one at a time that have been placed in a line 3.3 feet or 1 meter apart, and deposits them in a container of sand back at the start point. The curious contest started as a bet between two friends in 1931, and the runner usually wins. Dang, that is an interesting contest. I mean, I'm sure it's not the weirdest contest out there. I'm sure because we all know there's probably weirder contests. Not that this one is weird, but it's still, that is crazy. Like, that is, man. Like this, this is, the runner usually wins, so that implies every so often, like on the rare occasion, the person oh yeah, probably gonna have to dust off some space dust or something. Space allergies must be acting up. Well, what this implies is that on the rare occasion, the person picking up the eggs is able to move faster than the runner. Like the story of the tortoise and the hare. Slow and steady wins the race. Right? Because they have to take the time to pick up each of the 100 raw eggs and make sure not to drop a single one. basically. But man, you know, hey, that sort of contest is your fancy. And hey, to each their own. But now, let's move on to fact number 9. Poop tea. Maybe it's not as disgusting as it sounds. Who knows? Yeah, no. Yeah, no, me too. I think it's probably gonna be disgusting too. Yeah, I know. Anyways, Chuhicha is a new type of tea brewed from caterpillar poop. Yeah, figures. It was developed by Tsuyoshi Maruoka, a researcher at Japan's Kyoto University, who, after feeding cherry tree leaves to gypsy moth larvae, noticed that the droppings that followed had a pleasant smell. So he decided to brew them into tea and has since experimented with more than 40 types of plants and 20 different larvae. So, one type that tea wasn't enough, you had to make more? I mean, yeah, pleasant smell. So that's enough to make it into a tea. And then you just go and use different types of larvae and plants to see what smells you can get. What tea flavors you can make with it. Like, I don't. To each their own, man. Wow. Let's move on to fact number 10. Trunk tipple. Before it split, a boa. How to speak? Ugh. Got a frog in my throat. Ugh. A baobab tree in Limpopo, South Africa, had a circumference of over 150 feet, or 46 meters, and was so large that its cavernous hollows housed its own bar and wine cellar. The Sunland baobab is more than 1,000 years old. Its tree bar was 13 feet, or 4 meters high from floor to ceiling, and could accommodate 15 people. A bar in a tree. I mean, I guess if you're able to use the space, then might as well take advantage. I mean, I never expected a bar, but it's inventive. Tree bar. Dang, you'd need a tall ladder. Right, you'd need a really tall ladder just to, like, reach up to the top shelf. Like, 15-foot bar. Like, that's a 15-foot alcohol shelf. I guess that's a lot of alcohol. I mean, it is a bar, so you kind of need quite a bit based on the amount of people you get per day in there. If it only accommodates about 15 people, I guess it depends on how long the people stay. But still. Dang. Oh wait, no. I said 13 feet. Whoops. Because, see, this is what happens if you drink too much. No, I don't drink. But it's a prime example of what could happen if you drink too much. You could see things that aren't there. You get your, facts misconstrued. Become loopy and can't think straight. Yeah. We'll consider that me doing an impression of someone who's drunk. Unintentional impression, I should say. Never get drunk. Yep. Just don't. Well. There you have it. There was 10 random facts you may or may not have known. But you know now. Well, was there any of them that you knew? If so, comment down below which ones you knew. I love hearing from you. And do you have any extra info on said facts? Well, let me know. Who knows? You may stump yo, Mr. Cool Guy. Space Pilot Mr. Cool Guy, to be exact. You may surprise me. And, you know, if you liked it, hit that like button so the algorithm knows that you want to see it out there in the recommended. That you want more people to see it. You enjoy it, and you think others would like it. And if you do like this, and you want to come back for more, or you keep coming back for more and you aren't subscribed, then subscribe. So you can be notified as soon as I post another one of these. So that way you don't miss out on these crazy, wild, weird, and interesting facts. Did I mention crazy? And you know, share this with others so they can see it too. So they can get the word on these weird, wild, interesting, and crazy facts with Space Pilot Mr. Cool Guy. Well, as always, I'm Space Pilot Mr. Cool Guy, and as I always say, when it comes to the facts, to infinity and more facts,